The Paripus riots were a huge deal in the world of metaphor. It was when a bunch of Paripus, the beast folk of Uchronia, led several uprisings all around Grand Trad. The Sanctus Church and the Crown Theocracy deemed that these riots were caused by the Paripus being angered by their living conditions, which would make a lot of sense given how the beastkin are treated in the world of the game. Because they have more animalistic figures, people were okay with treating the Paripus just as that. Animals. They are denied housing, employment, political power. The Paripus are over-policed, and every time one of them was ever accused of a crime, there would be a large mob of people cheering for them to be executed. The Paripus are second-class citizens, and on paper they have more than enough of a justified reason to burn this entire kingdom down. But as we've seen throughout metaphor, when the Sanctus Church is involved, that means there's always more to the story. To make ends meet, a lot of Paripus had to sell their bodies to the Sanctus Church, willingly offering themselves up as test subjects for the church's magic igniter experiments. Yeah, you heard me correctly. The Paripus were systemically put into a position where they had to sell their bodies to make ends meet, just to put food on the table. During the testing for these magic igniter experiments, the Paripus will be locked together away in cages, crammed together, sharing food, even fighting for it sometimes. The igniter experiments left the Paripus that underwent all of the experimentation with severe side effects, such as stunted growth, chronic pain, and if your body couldn't handle it, death. And if they didn't die, there was a high chance that their bodies would be magically corrupted from these experiments, and the Paripus would go feral. And according to Best Boy Basilio Magnus, this was a huge reason behind the riots. Because at those riots, there were a bunch of feral Paripus, all seemingly suffering from some terribly painful despair that was so intense it made the Paripus appear not in their right minds. We as players know this as melancholia. Lives were lost at these riots, including the life of May's son. Because of these riots, there were people whose disdain for the Paripus only grew. There were people who had a brand new reason to detest them as well. And it wasn't even the Paripus' fault. And the Paripus didn't have a say in any of this. No one batted an eye at the things they had to endure. They shunned them. They turned their heads away from their suffering. And a concerning amount of folk were in support of the way the Paripus were treated. Them and they needed to be treated this way because they were beasts. And this was all at the hands of the Sanctus Church and the Crown Theocracy. Growing up in these conditions, it's no wonder why Fidelio and Basilio and so many other Paripus decided to follow Luis, because in their eyes, Luis offers them true equality, where they can be judged on their hard work, on their character, not because of what they are. And maybe with enough of that hard work, people would learn to respect them as well, learn to view them as people worthy of success, worthy of happiness.
Even if they obtain that happiness by working for a madman.